Transport Evolved is sponsored by audiblepodcast.com. To claim your free audiobook from a selection of over 85,000 growing titles for your iPod or MP3 player, head to www.audiblepodcast.com/Transport Evolved. And by your kind donations. To make a gift to the show or to set up a monthly subscription, head to www.transportevolved.com. We thank you for your kind support. And proud to support Chronovirus, the latest book by Long Island author Aaron Crocco. To find out more and get a free chapter, head to www.aaroncrocco.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome, Mark.
Hello!
This is the special edition of Transport Evolved, another special edition in a month. Aren't you lucky people? This is episode 164.
Oh, blimey.
And we are recording it on a Thursday.
It is Thursday?
It is Thursday, the 5th of...
And I'm aware that I'm on the wrong... Shush! She's very talkative.
She is.
I realise I'm on the wrong side of you, though.
Yes.
At home, I'm on your right, so this is a bit weird.
Yes, but it's okay, because I'm driving my car. Hello to everyone at home watching. I'd like to let Mark drive my car, but he's not insured.
No.
And having already had an accident this week, I think one is enough, isn't it?
One is enough, and I drive my own car. You wouldn't want me driving your car, I don't think.
Oh no, I'd be fine with it.
But
I'm not. I don't stand on ceremony.
We are reporting from the road.
Yep, we're at the M40 services in Oxfordshire, in England, it's around about 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And we're on our way to the Low Carbon Vehicle 2013 conference. It started yesterday. It's going on as we speak, and it finishes about 5 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
The reason why I didn't go yesterday was because I was in Germany.
And I was doing freelance work in other places, so... And this lady refused to direct us yesterday.
Yes, so I was in Germany driving the Focus Electric yesterday, which is good fun, and also the Mondeo, or the Fusion hybrid. I didn't drive the C-Max hybrid, got a little bit frustrated about that. But it was not a bad little experience, not a bad little time.
How was the Ford Focus, Evie?
The Ford Focus is overpriced but very competent as a car.
Because this is something that's very weird that car has essentially been out in the US for a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been out in the US now, since 2011, 2012-ish. I suppose the shocker is that Ford said it's only going to sell, 30?
30 in the year.
In the UK. So just forgive me while I merge onto this motorway.
But yeah, so that Ford are obviously setting their sights high for this car. And what annoys me is that they've priced it in a price bracket where that is essentially going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're in the market for an EV, you'll pretty much discount the Ford straight away because of its price.
Yeah.
It doesn't offer anything additional for that price, which is a real shame, because if they reduce the price, it is essentially your decision would be Leaf or Focus, because they're both in the same region together. Which is a shame that they're doing that. So they've kind of made it a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're only going to sell 30 of them.
Yeah, I guess. So there is some, obviously, because we're on the road, we don't have the usual guest list. We don't have the normal show today.
Nope.
I'm keen to make sure that Transport Evolved is not, 30 minutes of us blabbering together in the car, as it were. But maybe, Mark, you could tell people about some of the things we've been working on this week, because we hinted last week on the show that Transport Evolved is going through metamorphic changes.
Yes. So
is that an unnecessary word? If you say metamorphic changes, surely metamorphosis.
It is going through a metamorphosis. It's a good word.
Just because I wanted to see you say it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so this week we had a production meeting earlier on, and we're working
have to tell
towards...
people about production meetings.
It's a good... people want to know we have meetings.
Does it make us sound more productive than we really are?
Yeah, it makes us sound more professional.
Sorry, I'll shut up now.
Yes, thank you. My section. So we're basically looking at making Transport Evolved more of a brand. So Transport Evolved becomes a umbrella under which a number of shows sit, one of which is the Transport Evolved as you're watching now. And there'll be another show which we've called 10, and we talked about that briefly last week, which is a
Transport Evolved News.
Transport Evolved News, which is a very short 10-minute, very news-based show. I've also been working, and Nikki has been working on the website. We're going to launch a new
with
and
Michael
improved
as well.
website.
We can't
With
forget Michael.
I didn't know if he was a mystery partner or not.
No, Michael's working right now.
Michael's working on our website too. So that'll be relaunched, and there'll be news and information there, and basically bringing everything together. And you might have seen earlier on this week, we launched a proper Transport Evolved YouTube channel. So rather than videos going on to Nikki's personal YouTube, they're now going to a Transport Evolved.
So if you go to youtube.com/Transport Evolved, that is going to be the link for Transport Evolved.
And we're trying to get as many of the historic shows on there, if not all of them. I'm on a bit of a mission because people keep telling me they want to see all the old ones too. Even if we haven't got the video, try and get at least the audio on there with a static image so people can see all the old historic shows. But
Historic. Makes me sound like an old person.
You are before I joined, when it was just a show, before it became fabulous. And we also did the first couple of episodes of a show that we're calling
Charged Up and Quick Charge.
And Quick Charge. So there's 2 episodes of Quick Charge Up, which is essentially me and Nikki and Michael and anyone else who comes on board will be doing video reviews of cars. Quick Charged is our very quick, unedited first impressions.
Right. So Charged Up is our proper. We've had the car for a week. We've driven it. We give our professional opinions.
Opinions.
Yeah.
And then that's a more edited, probably slightly longer show, and then alongside that you've got these quick charged.
There's a Leaf
videos
being trailered on the other channel. Oh, sorry, it's a white Nissan Leaf going northbound on the M40. So if
that was you,
southbound on the M40.
If that was you, we're sorry.
We could have given you a. Oh, it makes you wonder if the quick charging's broken down where we're going. Maybe it's going to be us later on today.
Well, we'll deal with that when we get there.
We'll deal with that later. Sorry,
but
to interrupt.
The Quick Charge show is essentially a very short, quick, unedited first impressions of the car. So of us driving along, what we think immediately. So we've done 2 Quick Charge episodes for the Smart for 2 ED, which is electric drive.
Don't smile.
Electric drive. We're not laughing at that joke anymore. And it's a very interesting car, I thought.
Right.
It's, I would say, more niche than some of the other electric cars that are out there. But it's.
But if you want to hear what we think,
go see.
Go watch Quick Charge.
And
which
subscribe.
Is on, yep.
Subscribe to. We're all about the subscribe button now on YouTube.
And Charge Up, Quick Charge. Charged Up and Quick Charge will be on their own separate subscription options. Transport Evolved will be on its own separate subscription options. 10 will be on its own Transport Evolved subscription options. Obviously today is not going to be what Transport Evolved is going to be like in the future.
No.
But because of me being in Germany yesterday, because of you being working, we're not doing a live show tonight because we won't get back until
I won't get back until 10:30, 11.
So, by which point the show will have happened already, except it won't because we aren't in the studio.
But you will have this video in the future.
Tonight or tomorrow or whenever I edit it. Okay, so I think it's probably time for us to go and see what Mr. Aaron Crocker has to say about what happens when you get a chronovirus on board your freighter. Take it away, Aaron.
It was supposed to be just another cargo run, but for Ken Mallory and the 3-person crew of the Raven, an anomaly in deep space changes everything. An unexpected turbulence shakes the small ship like never before, allowing a deadly virus aboard. One by one, the infected crew is thrown back in time to relive a near-death experience. Only this time, death may be closer than they remember. My short story Chronovirus is available for Amazon Kindle, Barnes & Noble Nook,
Kobo, iBooks, Sony, and for all other devices and e-readers through Smashwords. Learn more about coronavirus by visiting my website at www.aaroncrocco.com.
Welcome back. That was coronavirus.
We're not going to do that bit.
No.
That's what happened while coronavirus was playing.
That was our
wonderful little outtake moment where we were both singing.
It was good.
And we went off on this little rat run, and now we've told you about it and gone off on a little rat run. So news this week. Obviously, we don't have any panellists with us, so you're going to have to deal with us talking about the news. Okay, it's been an interesting week. I suppose first up, Elon Musk has been rude about Tesla and Nissan.
When is he not?
Are we surprised?
No, I can totally see his point of view. When you compare the Model S and the Roadster to the Leaf and the Volt, which I think were the two that he was really kind of had issues with, yes, they do pale in comparison on many, many fronts. But when you bring price into it, you have to understand the compromises are going to be made. But he doesn't need to make that choice. He's one of the lucky people in the world that doesn't need to worry about that.
He needs to be careful he doesn't come across as being arrogant and you know, business does not favour arrogant CEOs that kindly. I know maybe, I mean, Elon's not arrogant, but I think he does need to be careful that he doesn't come across as.
He needs to be reined in a bit, especially because for Tesla to maybe not succeed, because you could argue it has succeeded and it is probably sustainable-ish where it is now. But going forward, if they want to grow, he needs to get that affordable car out there. And if he comes across now as someone who's only interested in the higher end, expensive cars...
Well, no, I mean, I think he was criticising more the engineering in the Leaf and the Volt. And you know, they do have their flaws. Obviously, the Leaf doesn't have its thermally active battery pack. Yeah. The Volt has this limited range issue.
But both of those are interesting technical issues. I mean, the Leaf battery pack, when you start digging into it, it is a very small percentage of cars where it actually matters that it would need some sort of different chemistry as Nissan are looking into, like we talked about last week, or thermal management. So for the vast majority of owners, Nissan were correct. You don't need a thermally managed battery pack. So I don't know. It's interesting. And then the Volt, yes, it's got a shorter range, but it is carrying around the big engine with it as well.
Yeah, I will disagree with you on the thermal management, by the way.
Okay.
And the engine and the Volt, yeah, okay. But you know, I think Chevrolet can do more in the future to make that
definitely
work.
And then you can very much see the future of the evolution of the Volt being battery pack increases, the range extending motor shrinks.
Right.
And talking about 3-cylinder, weren't they, possible for the next Volt? Yeah. And so as the engine shrinks and the battery increases, the Volt becomes more and more of an EV with a backup than a plug-in hybrid, which is where I class it in my head at the moment.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. I can see that coming in. One of the things, obviously, that I'm interested to see, though, is the sales figures for August were absolutely phenomenal. I don't have the exact numbers, but Volt, best sales month ever. Leaf, best sales month ever. It feels like electric cars, especially in the States, are finally getting to that point where they're overtaking regular cars, and they're doing fantastic things. See, Mark was trying to tell me how to do the guidance voice on the satellite navigation, because she keeps interrupting us. You see, I was trying to change it. You knew what I was trying to do.
I did. Okay. We got that link.
All right. So, moving on. What else have we had this week? i8. Photos leaked of the i8. Video leaked of the i8.
Leaked or leaked?
I think possibly leaked.
Okay.
It debuts on the 10th at Frankfurt Motor Show. BMW, look, we know how BMW feels about its own cars. We know how BMW acts when it's talking about cars, and part of me thinks that perhaps the i8 is overhyped. Price is the problem for me. I mean, we're talking about a car, okay, can do 155 miles an hour. It's got 2+2 seating.
Okay.
It's a sports car through and through.
Yeah.
0 to 60 time of, under 5 seconds, which is, okay.
So it's a kind of road sports car.
All electric range is going to be about 22 miles. Electronically limited at 75 in electric.
Okay.
But the price is the big problem. I think I worked out this week, even if you take into consideration European taxation, et cetera, if you do a direct euro for dollar conversion after you've taken off that 20% sales tax that gets added on automatically in Europe, you're still looking at over $100,000. Or close to $100,000. So you can buy a performance P85 Tesla Model S for less than you can a BMW i8.
Yeah, and then you have to start...
And then you get free fuel for life, if you charge at superchargers.
And there are so many interesting projects happening out there with home-built sports cars, sports electric cars.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wonder that if you are going to spend that much money on one of these cars, that because my argument, I guess, is if you're looking at what this is essentially a plug-in hybrid, you've got that kind of eco mind to you.
Yeah.
So why would you compromise then? Why would you buy this car which is compromising on that eco side of things and not find a Homebrill or a small manufacturer or a Tesla or all these other options out there? It's an interesting one where they're pitching it, and I don't know whether they fully expect it to be selling a lot or whether it's more of a
halo car.
showpiece.
It's a halo car. I don't think there's any...
Look what we've done. Look what our engineers have dreamed up.
Yeah, BMW's not really got its heart set in an electric car. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, it's got a small 3-cylinder engine, which is very efficient. It's great, but at the end of the day, if you had to choose between a sports car with 2+2 seats that was more expensive than a 5-seat luxury sedan,
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are going to go for the sports car?
And the 5-seat luxury sedan
But they don't cross shop.
almost matching the specs.
They don't cross shop, though. I mean, that's something we need to be very clear about. These two cars, they shouldn't be compared
No.
together because they don't cross shop.
No, if you're looking for a sports car, you're not going to walk out with a Model S. It's a completely different car, but it's interesting. Although it is showing that we are reaching the point with electric cars, and maybe this accounts for the improved sales figures where people are getting choice now. It's not just down to it's really going to be a Leaf or a Volt as it's been in the Leaf or Ampere in the UK, or in America a Leaf, a Ford or an Ampere. There is more choice now, which is good, and will only push forward the technology, I hope.
Yeah. All right, moving on. I'm trying to list off the list of things in my head. Siemens pulling out of EV charging infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting one, isn't it?
It's interesting because they're a big company, so they can afford to take a lost lead on products like this, if that's indeed what they've been doing. I don't know their financials in terms of how much they cost to manufacture and sell, but I can't imagine there's high volume at the moment. So as a manufacturer, they can afford to take a lost lead to put their name out there.
Yeah.
And if they've now made the decision that's not worth it, that says quite a lot.
Well, Siemens has said that at the moment, it's decided to pull out of producing the charging infrastructure, the plugs and the wall outlets and whatever, or the charging stations like we have. I think Siemens is probably still going to work on the inductive charge technology.
Okay.
I suspect it will still, it's still going to work on motors. It produces motors for many manufacturers. And so it's not out of electric vehicles altogether. It's just pulling out of the power electronics to charge. And you know what? I think in some ways I can understand it because, well, there's no money in charging infrastructure. There's no one's come up with a sustainable, workable business model yet.
Not one that generates money through charging.
No.
I guess is the argument.
No, and still no. I mean, even the models where you patronise like Zero Carbon World and some of the ones in the States that do the same thing, there's still that challenge of you have to make the upfront investment, you have to install the charging station. And actually, I worked on a piece this week arguing that we need to be really realistic about our charging infrastructure and where we place it. And then Chelsea was on the show last week. She's talked about it lots in the past. Putting in a charging station just because, let's be green, let's put in a charging station, is probably the worst thing that you can possibly do.
Yeah.
Because if that charging station sits there and isn't used for years, and then someone comes along and discovers it's broken or it's vandalised, that sends a really negative message. Whereas, we've got people someone posted on Facebook this week in the Bay Area. They were waiting for nearly 2 hours to use a rapid charger.
Wow.
And
we complain in the UK, our rapid chargers, a lot of our rapid chargers, at least for the Leafs, are in Nissan dealerships. And I get annoyed because when you go to use them, it's not a simple pull up, plug in, 20 minutes, you're done.
Right.
It's pull up, they've parked a nice car in the space, so you walk inside, someone comes out and moves that, so that's 10 minutes. You then pull in, find out you need a card, so you go in again and ask the guy for a card. They don't know where the card is. The guy who owns the card is now on lunch, and it can be 20, 30 minutes before you can start charging, which is a problem for something that's sold as a quick charge.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, these people are turning up at public charging stations, and they're having to wait because there's so many people using them, which is brilliant. But at the same time, the people who installed that charging infrastructure should have gone, okay, this is one of the most, I think it was along the I-5, this is one of the most busy routes in this region. It's in a region where there has always traditionally been a high adoption of plug-in vehicles anyway. So we know people are going to want to drive these plug-in cars. Don't you think now it's time that we actually figured out a way of putting in another one?
Yeah, even if it is just another connector and you both share half the power. Or something, there needs to be a solution. But we're barely at the point where charging infrastructure makes sense, let alone putting massive redundancy in, and that's the issue. There was an interesting story, I think it was Tom Malogny at his restaurant this week. He saw someone come along in I wish I could remember what car it was, pulled up, plugged in, said it's charging, and then walked down the road and ate a meal at a different restaurant. Which was quite interesting. So people using these location-based charging stations and then going somewhere else and not patronising that location.
Like I say, I don't think these models are working yet. They're not quite there. They're getting there slowly, but they're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Let's have a break. Let's find out what we're doing actually at the events. We're going to a bit of time travel now. We'll come back to the rest of our stories in a few.
We're going to the future.
We're going to the future.
Excellent.
So now I'm going to pass over to me and Mark, or one of us. I'm not sure who's going to be doing this bit. And we're going to be at LCV 2013. Let's find out what we get up to.
Excellent.
Ooh, bye.
Hello, Nikki and Mark from the past. I am Mark from the future. Nikki is outside. You'll never guess where I am. I'm in the BMW i3. And I have to say, I'm impressed with this car. I take back all of my ugly comments about this car. It definitely is a car that looks a lot nicer and a lot more put together in the future. One of the things that's quite interesting about the car, or that I found, is the front and back space. The boot, I opened the boot and both me and Nikki, I think, were very surprised at how little space was in there, which was a bit of a shock. Although they do make up for that because in the front, there is an extra little cubbyhole, like the front on the Tesla, but not quite as big. So, in general, it's quite a nice looking car. And I just wonder why the press photos made it look so squeeged. And that is my technical term for it. So the inside of the car is actually incredibly nice. The fit and finish looks lovely. It's kind of like a car from the future, although with this very kind of wooden, you can't see it, but there's a kind of wooden shelf here. I wouldn't be surprised to find some wax fruit just down here. I'm talking a bit like Jeremy Clarkson at the moment. There appears to be a kind of half iPad touchscreen just here, which is lovely, and another kind of iPad-ish touchscreen in front of me, although I'm not quite sure if that one's touchscreen. But it is absolutely lovely, and on the inside feels a lot bigger than it looks on the outside. All in all, I quite like this car now. So this is the BMW i3, which is a lovely 4-door or 5-door if you include the back car. This got the suicide doors here, which are very nice, and as you can see, the back seat, if I get in, there is absolutely plenty of room in the back for a fully grown, quite big adult. We've got the seatbelt actually on the door, which is quite a nice, interesting feature and shows off the amount of technology and the amount of design work they put into this and what the new materials that they're using can actually do. I'm going to close this door now and say goodbye to you all and hope someone takes me for a test drive one day. Bye-bye. Hello, Transport Evolved, and welcome to Quick Charge. This is NIkki Gordon-Bloomfield here.
Hello, and that's Mark behind the camera today. Guess what we're driving? The Tesla Model S. This is the P85 Plus. That's a car with camouflage on. I'm not going to even look at that. I'm just going to look at the Tesla, the beauty of the Tesla. Right, so this is the first time I've driven a Tesla Model S. I have been in the back of one before, a couple of times. This is the first time I've actually driven one. Because we're at an event here today, there was a bit of an incident yesterday which has made the alignment a bit funny on the car. I think that's Tesla's nice way of putting someone may have done something to it that they shouldn't have because they couldn't cope with the power and the awesomeness that everyone tells me the Tesla Model S is. Just as a quick rundown for this show, for those of you who've never seen it before, it's a quick 5-10 minute quick review of the car based on having just got behind the steering wheel for the first time. So it's going to be things like, oh, how do I do this? Where's that? And it's not the full review. For the full review, you're going to have to wait up for our Charged Up, which will be coming later this year. Enough from me. Oh, from editing point of view, the only thing we do, I've got a camera there and I've got a microphone here. We don't have all the full camera that we use for Charged Up. This really is quick, basic stuff. So let's put the car in gear and find out what happens. So push in the lever here and move down to D for drive, and it's still telling me I'm in park. So, why are you still in park? I have got my foot on the brake. I'm moving down. Ah, I know. It's because you don't press the button in. That, Tesla, is something I didn't expect. Let's make sure that there's no one coming. We're going to do this nice and gently. We're going to do the city course. So we're going to go this way. And there's a man here that makes it look like we're doing air traffic control. So, around town, the Tesla Model S should behave like any other car. And the first thing I notice is the steering is incredibly light, feather light. Obviously this is all adjustable thanks to Tesla's software controlled everything. There's this big touchscreen display. You can change how heavy you want the steering to be. You can change how you want the regenerative braking to be. It gives you all the information about the car. It is rather phenomenal. For city roads though, this is perfect. I mean, it's almost there you go, one finger steering of a Model S. I never thought I'd be doing that. And 1 foot driving, my left foot is planted firmly on the rest. My right foot is on the brake pedal. Not on the brake pedal, on the accelerator. I can take my foot off the accelerator now, and the car will actually almost come to a complete standstill. Just touch the brake, and it just stops. Very nice. I must say, the Model S does not feel like a large luxury sedan. It feels like a little city car right now. It's almost like a TARDIS in reverse. Or maybe, no, it's like a TARDIS. It feels bigger on the inside than it...
Seems to have an incredibly tight turning circle as well.
It is. I can probably... let's see if I can tighten this up even further. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, I go right to the edge here and I turn it round. Yes. But it's all speed sensitive, I think. It all works rather nicely. The only thing I notice here is that your wipers and stuff are on the left, which would bug the heck out of me to begin with, because most cars have them on the right now. But even now, I'm trying to get this car to misbehave, and it's just, even here, tight turning circle. Really
Didn't
tight
expect that
circle.
corner.
Oh, sorry, Mark. Even with the steering alignment out, as Tesla representatives told me, it still feels good. I mean, you can still maybe tell a little bit, and I guess it probably makes a difference to when you lift your foot off the accelerated to the coast if the alignment's slightly off, but yeah, I'm taking this rather slowly. I'm only doing 20 miles an hour right now, which is absolutely fine. I'm going to cut this corner.
Naughty.
And I'm going to turn right here. And I'm going to stop. And I'm going to do what you would do in normal traffic, which is just move away. No drama, no fuss. Lovely and quiet.
How much are you using the throttle at the moment? As in, how far down is it travelling?
Not, I'm feather light, Mark. Absolutely feather light. The seat's nice and comfortable. I have a bit of a bad back today, so I'm actually going to turn on the heated seat to 3 and press it again into 2. So now give me a warm bottom. And of course you can have the winter pack. So all the seats, if you buy the winter pack, can give you a nice warm bottom. Now, because you're on this track, I'm actually going to try and do the reversing. So let's move it into reverse.
And the camera comes straight up.
Lovely camera. No predictive lines, which surprises me, and I hope Tesla... I think Tesla has said... We've got a Tesla representative with us. Is that coming in a future update?
No, it's available now.
It's available now, so you can actually turn on predictive lines.
Yes, yeah, so it's also parking sensors that would make a noise too.
Fantastic. And you can see there, standard low regenerative braking, comfort standard sport, traction control on or off, doors, you know, e-brake. This is all really very nice. And of course you've got the closing, opening vent here for the sunroof. You can stop it at any point and you can spin it right back again.
That
Lovely.
is so cool. The fact that you can open it at any point by touchscreen.
And you can do it from the mobile app as well, which is, you know, phenomenal.
And it does feel, as a passenger, ridiculously smooth. We had the Smart for 2, and that wasn't quite as smooth as the Leaf, I would say. Whereas this is very smooth. And blimey!
Wow, that didn't even feel you know, any problem at all. So if we take it onto the hill circuit now, which I believe is that way, isn't it? Hello, Transport Evolve viewers. We were quick filming this for the Quick Charge series, which is coming later this autumn, and then we realised actually it's Transport Evolve Day, and I'm driving a frigging Model S. So this needs to be in today's show. I'm at Millbrook testing ground in the UK, and I'm on the hill circuit, and poor old Mark, I warned him about this circuit. He's never been here before.
Those are big hills.
They are.
Okay. I love electric cars.
Okay. Okay, so this is really rather nice.
We've also changed the steering settings onto
so
sport.
This is now into sport mode. It just gives me so much confidence, and I don't even get. I'm not looking at the speedo because I have no idea how fast we're going.
It's probably a good idea.
About 50 miles an hour. It's just absolutely awesome. This car is just completely stuck to the road.
Does it feel heavy?
No, not at all. I mean, you feel a little bit of body roll, but that's partly because of the suspension setting. But you know,
And it's just got amazing pickup. No matter what speed you're going, it just flies.
I mean, I should point out that I'm on this hill course, and this is built to put cars through their absolute limits. I mean, that was 70 just there.
I apologise for the camera going everywhere. The Model S is very hard to centre a camera on.
And I'm just getting feedback. Most cars would be losing the back end there, and this car has not. Oh, I just went round a very sharp right-hander at about 45-50 miles an hour, and the car just didn't flinch. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to check my right-hand rear view there, and I'm going to be a bit naughty and cut the corner.
I'm going to put on
the AC.
No, I'm going to see that's our energy usage for people who want to see what Nikki's been up to. And that's it. 14% gradient here.
And it's still accelerating. I mean, I'm having to be careful because the the track police are about. But, you know, it's giving me bucket loads of tour. I've never driven an electric car like it, apart from perhaps the original Tesla Roadster. It's that same seat of your pants joy, except this one feels like you've been strapped in. You know, I accelerated up to 60 miles an hour.
Going up a 21%.
Up a 21% incline, and I'm now, you know, taking this corner quite smoothly. Now, I'm actually going to go around it again, but I'm going to drive it properly this time. And I'm going to drive it as you would if you were driving in the countryside. I hope everyone in the car is not too sick.
We have captured 2 people in the back, and they are being subjected to Nikki's whims.
Well, you see, on the way up here, Mark's never been to Millbrook before, and I did say to Mark, "Are you sure that you're happy to film at Millbrook on the hill circuit?" And he went, "Yeah." And I went, "Wait until you actually, you know, wait until I'm actually behind the wheel, and we'll see if you agree."
But I'm going to have a quick play with some of this. That's the rear view camera, which if you've been looking at YouTube over the past month or so, you would have seen Tony Hawk's filming some skating while he was driving along in his Model S, and there was people skating behind him.
I'm going to do this one more time. If I keep going round, I think I can take it up.
That's the web interface, which I presume is using 3G. So you've got all the web. Obviously, the sat nav there is streaming, I believe, Google Maps.
Yeah, Google Maps.
Yeah. So absolutely amazing. It knows where we are, whereas my sat nav in my car would just go, "You're off a road. You're not on a main road
Our
anymore."
leafs would just completely wig out over this. It must be said.
And I believe I should be able to just flip these round by one little button press. It flips it round. It's so lovely and intuitive.
Can we take it on the bowl, Carl, or not?
I think I have to drive it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, well you can do, but I'm trying.
And
so if I go around this, and we'll do it one more time, but I'll do it this time as a proper review.
And then up there, I don't know if you can see that because I don't know if that's coming across with the bright lights we got, but there is the speedometer. There's speed, distance since last charge, trip parameters. Nikki's got a energy display with some amazing orange peaks that are going off the chart.
Well, I'm going to drive it sensibly now. So what we're going to do now is, let me see if I can get this right. I'm going to go back to the controls screen,
Bottom left,
which is bottom left. I'm going to go to regenerative braking low. I'm going to go steering standard. And I'm going to go to standard suspension, okay? So what you're hearing now, what you're going to see now is me driving it as I would on a normal road. Of course, I've just driven around this hill circuit like an absolute loon on acid because I know I can. I'm not going to see anybody coming the other way. This is a bumpy road, you know, it's handling this bumps just absolutely fine. Now let's say I want to overtake a slow-moving tractor. Here we go, moving out.
God, yeah.
And it, you know, took us up to 50. Tractor's gone. We can go back in the left-hand lane. So, you know, plenty of torque to overtake. Very little worry about traction control. There's a lovely whine from the back end. You can tell that this car is a rear-wheel drive. It certainly sits down on its haunches when you accelerate. I believe you can adjust the suspension a little bit more so that it's harder, and when the suspension is really hard, it doesn't sit down as much if you've got the air suspension on. I don't know if this model has the air suspension, this particular car. Does it have the air?
It does, yeah.
It does have the air suspension. So how would I make that harder then? Is it,
suspension.
It's actually not adjustable.
Ah, right, okay.
On this car, you can change the height. That's
Okay.
what those settings are.
Alright.
But I believe it changes as you're driving along, as per the conditions.
It's reactive. Yeah.
Reactive.
So, you know, we're coming out here, this is the 55 limit. So we're coming out the 30-mile zone. Coming up to 50, come on, 45.
I'm getting good at making the camera come towards me rather than pointing up at the ceiling now.
So this is 45, which would be a little enthusiastic for a road like this, but a little bit more safe than the 60 I was doing earlier on. At Millbrook, if you're watching, I was never going above 50. Honest, Gov.
Nikki is a perfectly sensible driver, I can attest to
This
this.
is the roller coaster coming up here. Oh, what was that? Was that a pothole?
That's a pothole.
Sorry, are you alright?
Yeah.
Nikki may have broken a Model S.
No. It was on the road and it was very very sudden, wasn't it?
Very sudden, but from my point of view, the car didn't swerve or anything.
No.
It just took it.
No, and I don't think there's any problems with the steering anymore, so that's good.
Nikki has realigned the model.
wheels. Okay, so there we go. So obviously I can't tell you much about this car. There's no price set for the UK. Obviously the US prices have already been set. This is quite a rambling quick charge, but then this is a monumental car. This is the standard by which all electric cars need to be set.
Yeah, and this is the wake-up call for all the other manufacturers who keep releasing cars with a less than 100-mile range and only a 3.3 kilowatt charger.
You know, if I had one of these, this is the kind of speed I'd be driving it all the time around, you know, country lanes near where I live. I wouldn't be trying to rush it. Obviously, I've got regenerative braking set to very minimal right now, so I'm doing quite a bit of coasting. You know, and even if I want to accelerate up, this is a 20% hill. It's just coping with it. Absolutely just coping with it.
So you'll see there's some green peaks or green dips there where Nikki has been regenning. So she has been good a little bit.
I have. Hello everybody, this is Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield from Transport Evolved. I'm in the back seat of a BYD E6 and in the front seat
is me, Mark Chatterley. Hello.
Hello, welcome to another quick charge. It was almost a quick crash there, but let's say hello to another quick charge. Mark, you're driving the BYD E6. I think you felt a little bit queasy after the trip round in the Tesla Model S, so now you're
quick. I plan a more sedate trip
in the BYD E6. Now the E6 Chinese car, already used throughout China, going to be coming to London soon as the Green Tomato Cars London taxi, effectively for Green Tomato Cars, private taxi firm. Now, Mark, first impressions.
It is lovely to drive, actually very nice and smooth. I've managed to turn the windscreen wipers on, which was good. Which way, follow that one?
Yes, follow the blue side.
Very loud motor.
Yeah, it's quite
This way, that way?
stiff in the rear as well, I must say.
The
Suspension feels quite heavy.
Yes, it's a very heavy car. You can feel that it's a heavy car, but that's probably down to the fact it's got an absolutely huge battery pack powering it.
61 kilowatts? 61 kilowatt hours.
Yeah, which is amazingly huge, which is I think leads to the range it said, or on the leaflet that I picked up said 186 miles, which is massive.
Is that homologated or is that?
I didn't see any thing. It's got very aggressive regen actually, which is lovely to drive. I quite like cars with aggressive regen, which is very nice.
Well, the dashboard's very interesting as well because it's got this
over there.
digital dash on it, hasn't it? It's all digital and
This one here.
it looks like it's keep going around, follow the bus, Mark.
Following the bus.
It looks like it could be customizable, which is interesting.
And it definitely doesn't have any lack of power to it. You feel like you can just go, I'm gonna let the bus carry on. Are we going straight on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just goes by the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely, I mean, going down on the accelerator, it's just pulling away, which is lovely.
Sorry, Mark.
That's okay.
That's
Bumpy bits here. And these, I mean, that's very different to the Model S which we did. I guess this is riding much higher up on the road, so you could hear the noise from them a lot, but there was very little shake as I went round. It's actually a really nice drive. It feels to me a bit like I'm driving an electric truck. Does that make sense?
I get the feeling in the back as well. It feels more like a bus than it does a car.
I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. It feels solid. It's sticking to the road very nice as we go around the corners. I do feel it fighting me a little bit on the corners to go round.
It's quite rolly in the back, it must be said.
But in terms of speed of braking, sorry, testing the brakes. I love how responsive it is to what I want it to do in terms of acceleration and braking. It's very nice. And I actually, having speaking to someone who likes the quiet noise of my car, there is something quite satisfying about putting my foot on the accelerator and hearing the motor kick up. That's got quite a nice feel to it.
How's the driving position, Mark?
I feel high. I feel strong and powerful. I guess how I would explain it. I feel like I'm surveying the road rather than driving the road, if that makes any sense. As you can tell, I'm not a motoring journalist, and I don't know the phrases, but I feel good. I don't know, there are a few niggles, like you said. Going around corners, it seems to fight me a bit, and there's a bit of roll involved. And there are lots of buttons and lots of displays. I don't know if you can see the dash from back there, Nikki, but
Yeah.
it's a complex dash.
It reminds me a little bit of a Toyota dashboard from the.
That's the speed. That's
From
the
the,
output.
Okay.
And this is the
Yeah, so I've got. It's actually got a
only
percentage
27%
meter.
left.
Yeah.
The range at present is 45 miles left. But they were only 12, latest for 12 miles.
And is that customizable? Can we swap and move things from that, or is that static? As
Static.
is? That's good.
And the thing that makes me a little, curious is that this is only going to be fleet. It's
Yeah.
not going to be for sale, at least initially.
Which is a shame, because with the size of the battery pack, I mean, it's got that really going for it. The fact that you can drive and drive and drive this. I mean, it's not Model S territory, but it's much longer range than any other pure
Well,
EV
on
Model
paper,
S.
I mean,
On paper.
range tests,
This is a-
notwithstanding.
21% radius, and it's not liking it hugely.
No, it's sounding a little strained on that.
It's going up round here. So it's got the power on the flat, and it's got lots of power on the flat, it feels like, but when that's translated to going up a hill, it doesn't seem to like it as much. I'm slowing down to this lovely corner. It's fighting me a little bit, but it was okay. Yeah, I think from a first impressions point of view, the dash is a little complex. I like the sound, which is surprising even to me. But I like the power. I guess the torque from start is what I really like. It pulls away very, very nicely, and it brakes and has quite aggressive regen.
I will say something, Mark. The seatbelt has got hold of me and it won't let go, and it's just getting tighter and tighter.
It's like a boa constrictor.
It's just getting tighter and tighter every time you brake. It's getting tighter and tighter.
I've linked the brake to your but
Which is,
I
very
didn't go over
interesting.
the rumble strips.
Anyway.
I thought I'd give the car a break.
Anything else to say, Mark?
No, I'd like to spend more time with it, and I guess that's what it comes down to. These short videos come down to is I'd like to spend more time with it to get to know it a lot better.
Can we switch? Can we do a quick switch? Do you think or not?
Do you think we can swap so Nikki can have a drive? Is that
Yes.
Cool.
if you tell me where to go?
Why don't you spin round and then park up on in a second, and we'll...
I should have gone in there. Sorry. Should I go all the way round and
Yeah.
then we can go into there again? Hello, Transport Evolved people. We're here for another quick charge. This time it's Nikki driving the BYD E6.
Hello.
And we've done a quick change, and Nikki will tell you that everything I just told you was completely
I
wrong.
disagree with you on the pulling, Mark. I just pulled away from the bus stop there, and it feels heavy. This car feels heavy. Steering is vague.
I agree.
It's
I
just-
agree. It feels
wants to
heavy.
it just wants to self-center all the time. It's just no. It just feels top heavy.
And the
And
steering's adjustable.
is it adjustable?
Yes, it's not
Okay.
a big issue actually.
Okay, so I mean it holds the road. There's a tendency to want to step out at the back end, but this is a big vehicle. You're talking SUV size. The braking, if you're gentle on it gives you a little bit of regen. But then if you press it harder, it seems quite harsh. Steering is nice and tight for city use. Dashboard is very informative, but I do find it a little bit busy. I'm looking at it going, oh, what's the information I need to find? At the moment, I'm in sport mode, yeah, I can't. I must admit, I find feeling the road in this feels harder than it would, I think, on certain other cars. All right, this is a 11.6%, flat to the floor, 41, 42. That's about all she wrote. So I can see why this is being used for fleets mainly in London, because around London this is going to be great because, you know, top speed of 30 miles an hour. Flooring it now, even going downhill, it just feels, yeah, it just feels like it's, I don't know, a bit like an untamed horse, or maybe one that's been partly schooled. It knows how to behave itself most of the time, but you see, that was nicely done. The camber was nice. You know, I'm flooring it now, and it's just slowing down. Now, a minute ago, I think we had 40% of the battery left. We're now down to 24.
24% battery left.
We were 40 earlier on, weren't we?
I will go back and check, and we can flash it up on the screen.
Okay. That seems to be quite a big drop. Although, I mean, obviously this course. Right, I'm just going to do something. I'm going to do a bit of a... Okay, this is from standstill. So, there are hills in Bristol that are 20%.
There's
We're,
quite a loud pitch.
we are now doing... Oh my.
I don't know if that's being recorded, but there's
20.
there's quite a loud pitched whine coming to my ears.
Oh my. I'm sorry, that's dangerous. I've seen G-Whizzes go up hills quicker than that. G-Whizzes with similarly charged batteries.
There's a silence that says a lot here. And I think I'm gonna, as Nikki goes around this corner, I'm going to click off this video.
That's the drive of the BYD E6, folks.
We will be back with more of these soon.
We will be back with more quick drives in the future.
And do remember to subscribe and keep that going, and you can see all the new quick drives, and you can see the charged up is that's the name.
Okay.
When we do.
But before we go, you know, I just have one. We've got a BYD representative with me. Is that normal for the hill? Is that normal for hill starts like that? Would it be faster, or?
You mean?
Why did it go so slowly up that hill?
Because we have the big size and the long range, so that's the reason why our battery, our car is a little bit heavier than the Nissan Leaf, because there is small car,
I appreciate that,
range,
but
so that's the main difference as well.
But for UK traffic, that's downright dangerous. You know, that's slower than a milk flight uphill. Okay, thanks very much, everyone. This is Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield doing a quick charge in the BYD E6.
Bye.
So, Mark, we're back in Oxford
Again.
after our little trip. I
Where
am
we started.
absolutely exhausted. How about you?
It's been a long day.
It has been a long day, and wow, what a day. So we found out about Kurz. We didn't film that, but we met some great people from Volvo.
We're talking about the Kurz system and how it stores the energy and then basically injects it straight back into the rear tyres.
And
Amazing.
Kurz, which at the moment doesn't work with an EV, but
They're working
towards doing that with
which
an EV.
is awesome.
We saw some great charging station people,
Yep.
component people, someone who expressed an interest even in helping the Leaf upgrades.
Possibly
which would be
bringing
cool.
it to market, which was very, very cool. There was the cool guy with the trolley with his 5 or 10 kilowatt hour emergency Leaf thing. that
Yeah,
you
I
plug
didn't
in.
like that so
You
much.
weren't so I like the idea, maybe not the implementation, because it was Type 2 rather than Shadow Mode.
Of course, we're telling you all the things
We
that we didn't film.
Yeah.
So maybe we should talk about the things that we did film.
We did film. We've both changed our minds about how the BMW i3 looks.
Yeah, the BMW i3, BMW, I eat my words. I think your marketing strategy is still way off, but actually, the car, wow, in the flesh.
A little bit, almost a little bit like the nose has been chopped a bit short.
Yeah.
And there's an overhang at the back I didn't like, but the general look of it. Lovely.
But luggage space is going to be an issue.
Luggage space, definitely an issue. It's just got a flat boot. It's got a little frunk.
But the frunk is not really big enough for anything other than a handbag.
Yeah, or a laptop case. The wood on the interior was very nice. The interior was very, very nice.
Interior, nice, very BMW.
I can see it being an upgrade path for people who have got Leafs at the moment.
Yep.
Had a nice discussion about the range extender in it versus more batteries, but I won't go into that now. But maybe
BMW has some interesting views on that one.
Yeah.
What else? The
two cars we
drove.
Nikki's dream came true.
I drove the Tesla Model S.
She drove the Tesla Model S.
Brilliant. Thank you to Carl from Tesla Motors there for letting us have a sneak drive around the track.
Amazing.
Thank you for Mark for not throwing up.
Or throwing the camera over my shoulder. That car has some pull.
Yeah, it does.
And then we went straight from that
to the BYD E6.
To the BYD E6, which we had slightly different opinions. I didn't necessarily see it as bad as perhaps some people did. It has some issues. I quite enjoyed driving it. I was certain bits of it were quite nice.
Yep. And I had some trouble with. Oh look, we've got a Leaf turned up.
We got a Leaf turned up.
I had some problems with well, I just thought the whole car in general was pretty rubbish. The way it worked, the way it behaved, and you know, getting the car to stop and do that hill start was dangerous.
Yeah.
And in my view, any car that
can
cannot handle that hill start in the real world should not be allowed on the road. Period.
I completely agree. The moment that happened, and it gave me a piercing headache. It's not a car you should
But you're okay now, aren't you?
I'm okay, my head's better, but that high-pitched shrill while it was trying to send the power to the motor was shocking. Watch the YouTube video. We'll put it up.
We're going to embed this all in the show. Apologies if today's show is a bit late. That is because we've got so many video bits and bobs and trying to integrate them. I've only slept, I think, 6 or 7 hours in the past 2 days. So I'm going to be working hard tomorrow to upload it. And Mark has to sneakernet or EVnet the video files down to me before we can do anything.
But we will get it done and we will get it up.
Now, next week, usual time.
Usual time.
And it's the penultimate week before the changes of shows.
Yes, so lots of stress for us, but it's going to be great.
Yeah, 8 p.m. British Summer Time on Thursday next week. We've got the wonderful John Volker joining us and also Brad Horton, hopefully.
Ooh, very good.
A journalist and a Volt driver, so that'll be absolutely good. First time in a long time we've had 2 guests on the show.
Should be
Looking forward to that. Keep tweeting at us at Transport Evolved on the Twitters, or at Transport Evolve without the D. Keep sending us YouTube suggestions. Keep sending us feedback, really. You can reach me, Nikki, at transportevolved.com, and Mark is?
Mark at transportevolved.com. I now have an email address.
Yay! And we will see you next week. And until then, folks,
bye-bye.
Don't forget to plug in. See ya. Bye.
That's the old one, isn't it? Coronavirus.
Isn't that like a song? Boom diddy boom diddy boom diddy boom diddy boom diddy boom diddy boom 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 diddy boom diddy boom diddy boom. Well, goodness gracious me!
Yes, goodness gracious me was amazing.
That was actually a song, though, wasn't it?
It was. That I was going to go.
I'm in trouble. Goodness gracious me. Was it Peter Sellers who did that?
I have no idea.
I think it was.
I thought you were going either goodness gracious me or Eurotrash. One of the two.
So you just kind of did this random.
Bum ba-da-dum ba-da-bum. Bum titty bum. I could just, in my head was Eurotrash. Bum titty bum bum.
Oh dear, that's going to be an outtake at the end of the video.
Excellent.
Maybe we need to do that. We have an outtake reel for future episodes.
Me and you going bum titty bum bum bum. Oh dear.